Today we're going to install the Revolver X4 on this 2019 new body style Chevy Silverado. Now this is the same install as this GMC Sierra. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so next we're going to go ahead and install our bulkhead seal. Now it's going to go along the top of the bulkhead as far back away from the cab as possible while still being on top of the bulkhead. You're going to go from one bed cap all the way to the other bed cap and cut it in place. If you have a bed liner that wraps over top of the bulkhead, you don't use a bulkhead seal. Every other occasion you do. I've already gone ahead and wiped this down with alcohol to prepare the surface. Now I'm going to go ahead and install it. And when you get to the end, you want to go ahead and trim that into place. All right, so this is the passenger side rail. Everything I do on the passenger side, I'll also do on the driver's side. Now, what we're gonna have up here, the front, we're gonna have a large tab that cuts off the side of the rail with a large cutout, that's an oval cutout. And you'll also have a pad up at the front that's bent down 90 degrees. That pad needs to go all the way up against the bulkhead. So I'll be peeling back my bed rug, putting that up against the bulkhead. If I had a drop-in bed liner, a plastic drop-in bed liner wrapped over the front edge, I would wanna notch out that bed liner so that that pad can touch the bulkhead. We also want to make sure this edge over here is hanging on top of the bed cap. So I'm going to go ahead and set that in place, slide it forward, and then drop that down. Make sure it's pushed all the way up against that bulkhead. Next, we're going to go ahead and install our clamps. First, we're going to find a location at the very front of the bed cap. Now, I'm choosing a location where the bed cap is actually kind of dipped into where the plastic bed cap cover is. Back here, it's kind of pulled away from the bed cap cover. I want to have as tight a clamp as possible. So I'm going to choose this location right here. I'm going to put the clamp in. What I need to do is spread it apart. And then I'm going to kind of hook the back side of the metal flange, pull the clamp together, hold it together finger tight, and slide it as far forward towards the bulkhead as possible. I'm going to tighten it hand tight, then I'm going to use a 1/2 inch wrench or ratchet to get it to where it's just snug and starting to bite down a little bit. Now once it's snug and biting down, I'm going to go ahead and set the top of the rail by striking it from the top. Now I can go ahead and continue to tighten that clamp. You don't want to get it over tight, just get it nice and snug. Next, I have a strap clamp. This is the clamp that has a strap attached to it. I'm going to put it right next to my first clamp. Install it the exact same way, but since the rail has already been set right here, we don't need to reset the rail. All right, now moving along back along the bed cap, I'm going to come to another area where the metal flange is pushed more into where the bed cap is. That's where I'm going to attach my next clamp. Just slide it up in just like I did the last clamp. Make sure it's married into the teeth on the rails. Get it hand tight, then snug it with a 1/2 inch. Once it's snug, go ahead and set the top of the rail and tighten it down the rest of the way. All right, now moving back to the very end of the bed, just above where your tie-down cleats are, we're going to put one more clamp in. Spread it apart and install it exactly the same way that the other clamps were installed. Set the rail and then finish tightening. Next, we're going to go ahead and take our roll out of the box, set it up on top of the rails. Now this is reverse rolled from the factory, so what we're going to notice is that it will fall out this way. We're going to want to roll it towards the bulkhead as we roll the end back up. Now we can go ahead and fold our header panel back. On the bottom of our header panel, we're going to see a couple of tracks that run all the way side to side. In our kit, we're going to have 4 bolts. Those bolts are going to slide into those tracks, just like so. And those bolts will line up to the oval hole that's in this tab off of the rail. Once we get both sides, the bolts in both sides and lined up, go ahead and rotate that down to where those bolts drop down into that oval hole. All right, now underneath the cover on both sides, you'll see where the bolts are coming down through that oval hole. Each one of those bolts will take a rubber washer followed by a flat washer and then fastened with a nylock nut. Now at this point in time, we're not tightening anything down, we're just getting everything lined up. On the second bolt back, it may be very helpful to push down on the cover to get that bolt to sink down into the rail. Now we can go ahead and adjust the cover. Once we get to the tailgate, we're going to make sure that the latches are centered side to side and they catch the rail, and then also the D seal is on the opposite side of the paddle. Now that we've got it all lined up, we're going to very gently release the latches, roll it up to the cab of the truck, making sure not to shift the cover around, and we'll tighten it down at the front. And repeat the same process on the opposite side. All right, now if the cover is rolled up nice and tight, it will never touch the cab of the truck. However, if it's loosened up a little bit, that's when you can run the risk of it hitting the cab. So what we've got is a couple of bump stops per side that we're given to attach to the cover. What we'll do is we'll attach here and also here. I've already gone ahead and wiped down these 2 surfaces with alcohol. I'm gonna peel away my adhesive protector and put it into place. We're going to do that on both sides. Well, that concludes the installation. If you have any questions, call the experts or visit us online.